right in front of you. And sometimes it is perfect, and sometimes it's not, and you never quite know whether it's going to be perfect or not. And as Ethel Merman said one time, if you want perfect, go to the movies. There's an excitement to seeing something done in front of you that when you've got a movie screen, there's something being done, but it's not exactly mechanical, but it is not live. It isn't happening.
Once removed.
It's once removed, absolutely. And it's not happening right in front of you. And it's not your friends and your neighbors doing something right in front of you. And that's another aspect of a community theater. You have people that you meet in the grocery store, or your dentist, or your, I suppose, your proctologist doing stuff on stage in a totally different way. You know, when I was first involved years ago, when I directed a number of shows, Bill Sturtz was my stage manager most of the time. So during the day, he was on the bench. He was a judge. At night, he was my gopher. I mean, how can you get any better than that? There's lots of ways to be involved. There are, you always hear, there are no small parts, only small actors. There are small parts where people can come and they can come on stage and maybe have a line, maybe a couple words, maybe just stand there and look involved. There are props to be found. There are costumes to be found. There are costumes to be sewn. There are things that happen backstage that need people back there setting props so that actors can get them. Helping actors change clothes if they have to change clothes really quickly to get back on stage. There are so many jobs. There are sets to be built. There are sets to be painted. There are, I could keep listing many, many different jobs that there are to do in the theater. And there's a board of directors that help the season happen. They help directors do what they need to do. They help the audition process happen. There are people who sit at auditions. There are people who accompany. There are people who play in orchestras. I mean, there are just a ton of things. There are ushers that help people find their seats. There are people who work in the box office. There are house managers. I could keep going and going and going. There are just a ton of jobs. And without volunteers, we couldn't afford as a community to pay the people enough money to do what people come out and volunteer to do. And that's what makes the community theater work. I'm critical. There's a word that I have lost. I'm encouraging. I try and be very clear about what it is that my vision is and what I would like to see happen. I like to think my rehearsal periods are fun, and that it's fun to be involved in a show that I am directing.